In the Wolverine saga, Wolverine had previously been fighting a mind-controlling viral entity from the microverse. The entity shot Wolverine with a special projectile that eliminated his healing factor. Now, for the first time in a long time, Wolverine has to cope with his own mortality. In the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning, Wolverine lays on an examination table as Beast informs him that his healing factor is gone. Beast has consulted Tony Stark as well as a couple other brilliant minds. They all agree that the empty bullet Wolverine was shot with contained a special dose of an intelligent virus from the microverse. This ultimately eliminated his healing factor. Beast informs Wolverine he needs to be very careful as he's very vulnerable to damage right now. But as Beast hugs Wolverine, Wolverine tells him to let go. Even as Wolverine looks in the mirror to shave his face, he nicks himself several times and he's agitated as these are problems he never had to worry about before. As Wolverine walks through the street, a mortal man, it almost feels as though there's death all around him. As Wolverine heads towards the bar, he almost gets hit by a taxicab. But Wolverine would run into Nick Fury, and Fury would tell Wolverine he owes him as many beers as he wants. Now Wolverine tells Fury he doesn't need his sympathy. But it's not sympathy, as Wolverine did save Fury and the entire S.H.I.E.L.D. organization, and he lost his healing factor doing it. As Wolverine and Fury share drinks at the bar, Wolverine discusses what it's like being a mortal man. As Wolverine starts sneezing, he thinks to himself, fuck, I have allergies now. But Thor would come into the bar to share drinks with Fury and Wolverine, having heard about Wolverine's situation. Thor would go on to gaslight Wolverine about being mortal now, especially since all Asgardians are immortal. Now this pisses Wolverine off, and Wolverine punches Thor in the face. But at the very least, it does serve to get Wolverine all fired up. Thor would go on to tell Wolverine that mortality is a gift, and he knows he doesn't want to hear it now, but in time, he will see it to be true. Elsewhere, at a luxury hotel, several villains laugh and joke about Wolverine being mortal. But as these guys are joking, a strange gas spreads through the room and kills most of the supervillains inside. But back at the bar, Nick Fury carries Wolverine out as Wolverine is pissed drunk, but Wolverine states he only had 10 beers, so he guesses alcohol has more of an effect on him now. But elsewhere, in Melbourne, Australia, a man is confronted by a hooded figure who seems to be quite infected. Now, the hooded figure introduces himself as Tom Preston, but he says they call him Bile. Tom goes on to tell the man that they're only here because you called us here. But this dude is like, who the fuck is us? And Tom tells him the people that can control viruses. But as these two are arguing, there's a big ass explosion that eviscerates everything in the surrounding area. But back in the city, as Wolverine is walking through an alleyway, he's confronted by a man who asks him for spare change. Now Wolverine tells him to wait a sec, but the man rushes Wolverine and pulls out a knife. Now Wolverine grabs his arm and deploys his claws. This ultimately forces the man to retreat, but seeing as Wolverine is mortal now, Wolverine starts bleeding profusely. Wolverine heads to the grounds of the Jean Grey School to sit in front of a statue of Nightcrawler, a former friend, and a former X-Men. But as Wolverine is talking to the Nightcrawler statue, he would be confronted by Storm, aka Aurora, who thought she might find him here. Storm tells Wolverine to come back to her place for coffee. Back at Storm's place, Wolverine would confide in Aurora and let her know now that he has become immortal and he's aging like a normal human, he may have to start settling down and building a home. Aurora tells Wolverine he already has built a home as she hugs him and the two of them share a kiss. Aurora would help Wolverine shave his face, but as the two of them are getting a bit more comfortable, they get a call on Aurora's TV from Nick Fury. Now Aurora is like, what the fuck? I thought that was just a TV, but Nick Fury tells her it's an emergency. Fury informs them that supervillains all over the world are being targeted by people that can control viruses. Fury tells Wolverine and Storm that there's one viral controller in particular that they need to go take care of, and that viral controller just happens to be Aurora's ex-husband, T'Challa of Wakanda. To be continued.